Please welcome Turning Point USA CEO and Chair, Erika Kirk.
If you're Erika Kirk, there's literally one thing you're supposed to handle, and somehow you still go and pull this on a stage. Seriously, how does that even happen? Why? Because after a while, it starts opening the door for straight-up mockery, like that viral clip from comedian Drewski just days ago that had people laughing hard online. So if you're Erika Kirk,
Ladies and gentlemen, now welcome to the stage the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump!
and you keep rolling out these full WWE-style entrances, even after comedians are already clowning it, you're basically proving their point every single time. It stops being bold and starts looking like you're leaning into the joke without meaning to. Now, this event, called Build the Red Wall, went down at Dream City Church in Phoenix, Arizona, and featured Erika Kirk alongside Donald Trump as part of a bigger push to energize conservative voters ahead of the midterm elections. Big stage, big crowd, big expectations. The event itself, pretty standard Turning Point USA energy. But that's not what people are talking about at all. What's actually blowing up online isn't anything Erika Kirk said, it's how she walked in. And yeah, we're talking full WWE-style entrance, no subtlety at all. And look, I grew up watching WWE back when it was still WWF. I saw The Rock, The Undertaker, Degeneration X, legends with over-the-top entrances that sometimes dropped from the ceiling like a movie scene. So when I say Erika Kirk's entrances are on that level, that's not a cheap jab. That's coming from someone who knows how theatrical that world really gets.
But it doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues today, frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying particular principles. So the most obvious example.
But here's where it gets serious, because this isn't about tossing out easy shots. Since stepping in as Turning Point USA CEO after Charlie Kirk's assassination, Erika Kirk has been under constant attention for these public appearances. Flashy outfits, heavy makeup, dramatic staging, even pyrotechnics lighting up the moment. And that Phoenix entrance? That didn't just happen out of nowhere. It's part of a pattern people have been noticing for months now, and it keeps sparking conversation for one reason. It clashes hard with the weight of how she got into this role in the first place versus the larger-than-life way she's choosing to own the spotlight. And look, I want to be clear about something. Grief is not a one-size-fits-all situation at all. There's no rule book for how a widow is supposed to act or carry herself.
I don't know if you saw, but J.D. Vance was in Georgia this week. Don't worry, no one showed up. The stadium was empty. Did you see that?
And I'm not here to judge that or tell someone how to deal with loss. What I am going to focus on is the strategy behind the organization, because that's where things start getting really interesting. Charlie Kirk built Turning Point USA into one of the most effective grassroots machines on the right. The brand had weight, it had purpose, and even when it pushed boundaries, it still felt serious at its core. But what's starting to show now feels very different. It's shifting into something that looks more like a personality-driven entertainment brand, constantly chasing the next viral moment instead of building long-term impact. You've got the WWE-style entrances, the theme songs blasting, the pyrotechnics going off. It's a full-on spectacle every time. And here's the reality about spectacle. It works until it suddenly doesn't.
But JD came to UGA to attack the Pope. 2 days after Donald Trump depicted himself as Jesus Christ. The faithless president depicts himself as Christ while he plunges the nation into war.
That excitement can fade fast, and when it does, it leaves a big gap behind. Critics have already started pointing to empty seats at recent Turning Point USA events, with some observers saying turnout looked smaller than local church gatherings. That's not a small detail. That's a warning sign people are paying attention to. Here, for example, is J.D. Vance. So, yeah, when your own base isn't even filling the room, fireworks aren't fixing anything. If anything, they just make those empty seats easier to ignore from the stage, not actually solve the problem. And going back to Kirk, a lot of the online conversation after the Phoenix event didn't focus on her message at all. It locked in on the optics of that entrance. That's what people kept replaying, sharing, and talking about. And that right there is the real signal. If you walk out to a full WWE-style theme song with pyrotechnics blasting and nobody can even recall what you said afterward, then something clearly didn't land. When the entrance completely overshadows the substance, the whole point of that entrance falls apart.
Wars of choice. While he and his family rake in billions from foreign princes. While he plunders our health care to cut taxes for the rich. Meanwhile, rent, power, groceries, and health care have all hit all-time highs this year. This year.
At that moment, you didn't energize the crowd. You became the story yourself. And in politics, when the packaging becomes bigger than the message, that's not a win. It's a serious branding issue. Turning Point USA is trying to keep a movement together after losing its founder under truly difficult circumstances, and that's not easy for anyone. But sustaining something built on ideas takes more than visuals. It takes strong arguments, consistent organizing, and actually showing up to make the case in a real way. Not with theme songs and smoke machines, because once all that smoke fades, and it always does, you're left facing one simple question. Did anything you said actually stick with people? That's the part that really matters. And right now, looking at everything coming out of Phoenix yesterday, it doesn't even seem like that question was part of the conversation at all, which says a lot louder than any entrance ever could.
Ground beef's up 20% since Trump took office. Coffee, 40%. Health premiums through the roof. And remember, while you pay more for everything, the first family's wealth is growing by billions of dollars. Because they're crooks. And everybody knows it.
And that's where this starts to turn from flashy into risky real fast. Because when a movement becomes more about moments than meaning, it starts losing the very thing that made people show up in the first place. Attention is easy to grab, but it's hard to hold if there's nothing behind it. People might watch the entrance once, maybe twice, But they don't stay for the message if it's getting buried under all the noise. And once that happens, you're not building momentum. You're just chasing reactions. That's a tough cycle to break, especially when the spotlight becomes the main focus instead of what's actually being said. And at the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. You can have the lights, the music, the dramatic walk-ins, but if the message isn't landing, none of that sticks when people leave the room. That's the difference between a moment and a movement, and right now, that gap is getting harder to ignore. Because once the attention fades, people start asking what they actually got out of it. And if there's no clear answer, they move on fast. That's just how it goes. If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, share this with someone who needs to see it, and drop a comment with your thoughts. I want to hear what you think about all of this.